Hi, church. I know the news of my resignation was quite shocking this past Sunday for many of you. I really want to take a moment and thank those of you who stayed after the service or reached out later that day or throughout the week just to share your sadness in our leaving, but also your joy over what lies ahead for everyone involved. I've been so incredibly encouraged by the maturity of faith attested to in so many of you, who, while saddened and shocked, express great trust in God and even excitement for our family. I already knew that God was at work in Woodstown Church, but this just further affirms the good work Jesus is doing in so many of you. So I wanted to take a few minutes and share a little bit about the transition plans that we have come up with for moving forward. Session, Dan Pittman and myself met this past Wednesday night to talk about this way forward so that we could put your minds at ease as we assure you that Session has a solid plan, and it involves our incredibly gifted, passionate, and committed staff to keep this church moving full steam ahead into God's sovereign plans. First, please know, Session is working with Presbytery to find a PC USA ordained minister to fill the role of moderator of Session and the sacramental role, communion and baptism, that is required of that ordination status. This is for the immediate future in September when I'm not here. There's not going to be an immediate pastoral nominating committee or an interim process that begins right away, as Session plans to continue to press on forward into the new vision the church has as we're seeing growth and new people are coming each week. So Session will update you as needed, but you can fully trust in their leadership to work all of these details out in partnership with Presbytery. So as far as the day-to-day, week-to-week, Sunday services, and really all of the missional function of the church, the church being the church, let me share with you the plan for staff. First, Dan Pittman will step into the role of leading our staff throughout the day and the week, preparing for Sunday and weekly preaching. Dan is a gifted leader who has much experience in church ministry and leadership before even coming to Woodstown Church. And we are so excited to see him step into this new role. Session and I are fully convicted that God has him here for such a time as this, and the staff is 100% behind him. So Dan has humbly and graciously accepted this role and expressed his faith that God is leading him into it. Some other staff changes involve an increase in role and responsibility for John White as he takes on more weekly responsibility outside of Sunday morning and what he's been doing. This is Dan's current role of worship coordinator. So in addition to leading the worship team on stage and behind the scenes with the tech team, John will take that on. John knows the church, the systems, and most importantly, you, the people. So this additional role is going to be super helpful during this time of transition. John also has great support in Ruslan, who, as many of you know, has increased his commitment and really diversified his role here over the last year. Ruslan is key in both our traditional service with the choir and the musical accompaniment there of the organ and piano, as well as an invaluable part of the tech side of things in our contemporary worship setting. No doubt we see Ruslan continuing to grow and flourish as part of the Woodstown Church staff. Tammy Vaughn. Tammy's going to be taking on a larger role as she continues with outreach like she's been doing, but also adds in discipleship, placing her on a part-time status. So Kathy Rapisi will move from discipleship to social media, which is communications and promotions, her area of experience and expertise. We just know that God has brought Tammy and Kathy both to this church in a timely manner in preparation for a time as this. So with their passion and excitement for Jesus and what he's doing in the people of Woodstown, we know that God will use them boldly. I also would like to mention that Elaine Saggiamo in our office is vital to our church and our staff, and she will be key in this transition. She's the glue that holds that staff together, and we are so grateful that she has been here for almost 6 years, and we just know she's going to continue to be a strong part of the staff and moving ahead. We're also thankful for Becky Shad and her commitment to care ministry. So while her formal internship through seminary will be completed alongside of me in Princeton as she attends school there, she will remain on staff at Woodstown Church, and she will stay here to continue to lead care ministry as she serves in this dual setting. All of our other staff members will stay in their roles and have expressed nothing but full commitment to the future vision of Woodstown Church, and of course their full support of leadership. We know that, for example, Holly will continue to excel in children's ministry, and she's going to be a wonderful resource, as she's been, for our families and our children. Florence Beckett will continue to make sure that all new visitors are welcomed into the church, that there's great follow-up, and of course that all things run smoothly with the welcome team from the parking lot until the seat. Mitch Wygam will continue to oversee the facility with his talented team beside him and behind him. And Aura will be the heart of our traditional service as she hand selects music and elements of worship for that service each and every week. We are also super grateful for our bookkeeper, Diane Plymell, who excels in her role too. Now you might notice this leaves one hole to fill on our staff, the role of youth. The position that we've been looking for to fill is going to be increased to what we're calling a youth leader and worship coordinator role, as we will need another person who can assist with Sunday morning worship in various areas. So we are going to be hiring a new full-time youth and worship coordinator who oversees and grows the Ascend student ministry, while it's also hired to assist John and Dan on Sunday mornings in worship, on stage, off stage, prep, music, and technical support, as well as helping to build a college ministry at Rowan. So we're currently interviewing candidates for this position, and we look forward to sharing this new hire with you in the weeks ahead. Please pray for this position as we interview candidates. Friends, as you can see, God has already begun to fill in the gaps, mainly with the people that he has intentionally and purposefully brought to this church over the last year. It's amazing, isn't it, how we can see that God has been at work behind the scenes, preparing this transition time for the church long before any of us knew that it would happen. So while our timing is not God's timing, and while we don't often understand it or even maybe agree with it, we must commit to decide and accept it and to fully trust that God's in control and he has the plan. Know this, in the weeks ahead, we will announce a congregational meeting between services to finalize the end of my pastoral call at Woodstown, as well as to share more details in regards to all of these things I have talked about today and the next steps. But church, let me say this, Session is leading well and committed to the future of this church. Nothing has changed. The vision is intact, and we are fully trusting that God will not only surprise us, but lead us faithfully along the way, that he will provide for his people and live out his vision. So stay tuned as we move forward for more updates, but please also rest in the sovereignty of God and the one truth that remains. God is faithful to finish what he starts, and friends, God has got this. Amen, and be blessed, and we'll see you for worship on Sunday.